I've been running my online business alone for several years now. No team, no office, just me, my laptop, and a lot of trial and error. And if I had to start from zero today, knowing everything that I know now, I would do things very differently. I would start with Claude AI from day one, not just to write content, not just to answer questions, but to actually run the business with me. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I would do it step by step. And you will also see how I'm actually using Claude in my own business right now. So this is not theory. If you go on YouTube and search for how to start a business with AI, you will find a lot of people telling you to build an app, learn to vibe code, set up complex automations, connect APIs, and I tried some of that. It's not simple at all, and most of these apps never make any money. And even if you spend weeks building something, you're not even sure anyone will pay for it. So I want to give you a different approach, one that actually works for a one-person business. You don't need to build anything complicated. You need to sell a skill, something that you already know, and use Claude to help you deliver it faster and better than you could ever do it alone. That's it. That's the whole model. Let me show you how. So the first step is to figure out what you actually sell. And I know this is where a lot of people get stuck. They have too many ideas, or they feel like they don't have any ideas at all. But here is what I would do. I would open Claude and I would literally have a conversation with it to find my business idea. I would say something like, I want to start a one-person business online. Help me figure out what I could offer. Here are my skills, my experience, and the topics that I already know something about. And then I would just write it all out, and Claude will ask you follow-up questions. It will help you connect what you know with what people actually pay for. For example, in my case, I know Pinterest marketing very well. I know blogging, SEO, content creation, and these are not random things. These are skills that other business owners and bloggers really need, and they will pay someone to do it for them or to at least teach them. So the question that you want to answer after this exercise is, what exactly will you sell? Who is going to pay for it? And how will you deliver it? You don't need to have a perfect answer right away. You just need a direction. And Claude can help you get there faster than doing it alone. On the next step, I will show you how to set up Claude to actually run your one-person business. But first, I want to show you something that I think will help you a lot, especially if you're just getting started with Claude. It's a free resource called the Claude Co-work Stack. It was put together by HubSpot, who is sponsoring this part of the video. Thank you for this, HubSpot. So Claude recently got a feature called Co-work. And what makes it different from just chatting with Claude is this. You can give it access to your files, entire folders, hundreds of documents, and it will work through tasks in the background while you do something else. And it gives you real deliverables, not just advice. Actual presentations, reports, organized files ready to use. The Claude Co-work Stack is a collection of 12 advanced prompts that are built specifically for this feature. So you can literally take these prompts, put them into Claude, and replace a whole week of work. My favorite section is the one about content analysis, where you give Claude access to your whole content library and it finds patterns and opportunities that you would never spot on your own. If you want to start using Claude at a completely different level in your business, I really recommend you download this. The link is in the description below and it's completely free. Okay, so most people use Claude like this. They open it, ask a question, get an answer, close it. This is like having an assistant and only asking them one question per day. To actually use Claude as a business tool, you need to set it up properly. And the way I do this is with projects. Inside Claude, you can create a project and give it context about your business. For example, I have a project where I keep information about my niche and my audience, my writing style and the tone that I use in my content, some examples of my work, and my current goals and offers. And when you give Claude this context once, then every conversation inside that project will already know who you are and what you do. You don't have to re-explain yourself every time. And this is when Claude stops feeling like a search engine and starts feeling like someone who actually knows your business. And if you have a blog, for example, you can add your most popular posts. If you sell a service, you can add your process documents and clients templates. Claude will use all of this to give you much more relevant and useful outputs. Now, let me show you what this actually looks like in practice, because there are 3 areas where I use Claude every single week and where I think it can make the biggest difference for someone starting a one-person business. The first area is content creation. I'm talking about blog posts, YouTube scripts, Pinterest pin descriptions, email newsletters, all of it. So how it works is that I give Claude direction, my ideas, my angle, and it helps me turn that into finished content much faster than I could do it alone. Of course, it all starts with my original ideas that I feed to the AI. Usually, I don't even type them anymore. I just talk my thoughts to the computer and let an AI tool called Typeless create a more polished and well-structured text. Then I give the text to Claude and use it for the full article or script. And before using any of the text generated with AI, I always do the fact-checking. I'll do some editing here and there, but with these AI-enhanced processes, what used to take me a full day now takes me a couple of hours. The second area where I use Claude a lot is client communication. When I needed to pitch a brand for collaboration, to write a proposal, or to respond to a difficult situation professionally, I use Claude to help me think through my approach and write the message. It saves me so much mental energy. I also receive a ton of questions from people in my audience, whether by email or in the comments on my social media, mostly on YouTube, or in DMs, and I used to spend hours every day replying to everything, probably 2 to 3 hours daily. And just to be clear, I don't mean that I'm using AI to reply on my behalf, but I do use it to draft my answers, and then I don't have to start from scratch with every single message. To make sure that my answers A, sound like me, and B, have the same logic as I have in my head, I created a document with all the questions that I often receive and with my typical answers to them. So from this document, AI already knows my tone, my style, and the typical length of my answers, and instead of writing every reply from scratch, I start with AI and then just edit it whenever it's necessary. The next area is strategy and decision making. People don't think about this area so much, but I literally talk through business decisions with Claude. Things like, should I create this new product, or how should I price this offer, or what topics should I cover next on my channel? It's like you have a thinking partner available for you at any time. Does it always nail it? Not really, but does it always help me process my thoughts and ideas faster and better by giving me some pros and cons and some arguments that I didn't even think about? Definitely. These 3 things, content, communication, and strategy, are what takes the most time in a one-person business. And Claude can help you with all of them. Okay, so you have your idea, you have Claude set up, but now how do you make money? There are 2 main paths, and both work well with this model. The first path is selling a service. This means that you do the work for someone else. For example, you could write SEO blog posts for small businesses. You could manage someone's Pinterest account. You could create content for a brand's social media. So here you charge for your time and your expertise, but Claude helps you deliver the work faster. The second path is selling your knowledge. This means that you create something once and then you sell it many times. It could be a course, a workshop, a template pack, an ebook. So you share what you already know in a format that people can buy. In my case, I do actually both. I have my blogging course and my Pinterest course, and I also work with clients. In this case, the clients are brands that sponsor integrations on my channel. And Claude helps me with both. And you know what's interesting? When I started my business, I spent so much time on things that I now do in a fraction of the time with AI. Writing a blog post used to take me most of the day. Now I can produce several pieces of good content in that same time. This is the real advantage of starting a one-person business today versus even just 3 or 4 years ago. The gap between you and a bigger team is much smaller now. But let me tell you a few specific things that I would do differently if I was starting from zero right now. Number one, I would set up my Claude project from week 1 because I spent so much time in the early days figuring out my voice and my positioning with Claude. Jesus, I used to get text with the same typical AI words and phrases, and I would tell Claude to please rewrite the whole post every time just to get rid of them. It was so frustrating that I couldn't teach it once and for all. I just wanted Claude to stop using certain words in my text. And having detailed project settings was such an easy solution to fix this. I wish I've learned about them earlier. Now, Claude can help you get clear on this much faster. Write down everything that you know about your niche and your audience and put it in a project. Now, number 2 is that I would start creating content earlier, even before I had a product. Because content is what brings you people. It builds trust, and now with Claude helping me, there is really no excuse to wait. You can publish content consistently even when you're at the same time building everything else in your business. And number 3, I would stop trying to do everything perfectly before launching. This is the one that held me back the most, because I kept thinking that I needed to have everything ready, the perfect website, a perfect course, a perfect strategy, and none of that matters as much as just starting and learning as you go. Claude cannot make you take that first step, but it can make every step after that much easier. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what is the one thing in your business that you most want to hand off to AI? Because your answer might actually inspire my next video. And if you want to learn more about how I use AI tools in my content business, then watch this video next. I'll see you in the next one.